Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you what we believe to be the best attacking formation right now in FIFA 23. So we know there's a lot of people out there that struggle with attacking and they change tactics all the time and they want to know how to score more goals. And one of the things that's really critical to scoring goals is you need a formation that's going to create chances, because if you don't create chances you can't score any goals. And we think this 5-2-1-2 in our opinion is the best formation at creating chances. Now with the blend of tactics, the blend of instructions, our play style really suits this formation as well. And that's another thing that's really important. Your play style should really dictate the formation that you decide to play with, because if you have a play style like for us, we love to attack with wing backs, and that's what we do in this formation. We attack with wing backs. So the way we want to play our philosophy also suits the players we've got. So everything just has to blend together, and that's when you find more success in playing FIFA. So as always, to show your support, make sure you smash the like button, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you turn on that notifications bell so that you do not miss any content that we release. So jumping on into the instructions, because we feel like this is probably a little bit more important than the tactics. You need to get your instructions right. And to start with, we obviously have the keeper as always on comes for crossing and sweeper keeper. Pretty much standard. We use this in every formation. This does not change. And then of course your three centre backs are all going to be on stay back while attacking. And you can also choose to have these guys all on conservative interceptions if you find that your AI is maybe running out of position too much or jumping into tackles. You can set them on conservative and they won't make those decisions. It'll make sure that they stay back, they drop off, which sometimes is really good because it gives the rest of your team time to get back into shape. So if that's a problem you have, that's a good solution to it. And then moving on into the wing backs, of course, we've got João Cancelo and we've got Zambrotta. Now, we have both of these guys on join the attack and overlap. Now, we know for a lot of people, join the attack is quite of a scary proposition. A lot of people's first instinct is going to be, I'm going to get countered all the time. And yes, this does happen from time to time, but we find that this sort of thing happens even when we're on stay back while attacking. You know, how many times are you on stay back while attacking and people still getting behind your fullbacks? They're still, running in behind. They still manage to get in behind. So we find for us that we just like in this formation, especially because these guys are wing backs, and these guys provide the width in this formation. We love to use cutbacks are really effective in this game as well. So you want to have that width, that ability to cut the ball back, to cross the ball. And we've got those players in the middle, Mane with the pace, Balotelli with the heading ability. And this is where it all blends together because we have the ability, the play style, just everything meshes very well. So join the attack works really well. You just have to accept that from time to time, you are going to get countered. But that happens when you're on stay back while attacking as well. So moving into the two central midfielders, we've got Alonso and Fofana. Both these guys are very good for this position. Fofana especially, one of those midfielders that you kind of want to have. You want to have someone that really breaks up the play, great at intercepting the ball, great at stopping your opponent's attacks. But you've also got that playmaker in someone like Alonso, because you need one of your midfielders to be able to get forwards and to support the attackers. Sometimes when Zambrotta and Cancelo are getting forwards, they're making the runs in behind. Maybe Balotelli's coming short, Van der San's sort of drifting around. So you need to have that option. You need to have that ability for one of your midfielders to be able to break the lines with a key pass, break the lines with a chip through ball, a through ball on the ground, a lofted through ball, whatever it may be. So you really want to have one guy that breaks at the play and one guy that's a playmaker in your position. Of course, you want both of them also to be on cover center. You don't need them on cover wing. A lot of people might like cover wing, especially with the wing backs going forwards, but we personally prefer to always make sure the center of our pitch is locked down. So then moving into the cam, of course, Van der San is the cam, but going to be on getting to the box. Doesn't matter who your cam is. Generally, we find that your cam wants to be your best player in your team because he's the one that kind of links between the midfield and the attack. So he has that ability to link the lines, but also he has that responsibility to assist the strikers and also get goals when it's, for example, in this position, Cancelo and Zambrotta get forward. A lot of the time your cam is the one that the ball is being cut back to. So he's obviously got to be competent enough to finish. You need someone that's got finishing ability. You need someone that's got obviously high dribbling, high passing, all those key stats. So we find for us, your best player really wants to be your cam. And then the two strikers, of course, that combination, as we alluded to before, Balotelli and Mane. We find what works really well in this formation. You can have two pacey players up front. We like to have one pacey player and one, tall guy that's good at heading, so they can work off each other. Balotelli sort of backs into defenders, knocks the ball off sometimes to Mane, to Van der Sar, to Alonso. He maybe plays a through ball to Zambrotta, gets cut back to Van der Sar. He might cross it back into Balotelli. So we find that having one pacey striker and one tall striker for headers, especially back post headers are really, really effective, especially on someone like a Balotelli as well. He's just a really good card from our experience. So having that combo of one guy on both on stay central and getting behind, but just the combination, the physical type, one pacey guy and one sort of big, tall striker works very, very well for us in this formation. So now before we move into the tactics, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you drop a thumbs up. And if you want to see any more content, make sure you let us know down in the comment section and we'll do our best to create that content going forward. So let's go into the tactics. So moving on into the tactics, and they're quite basic. And like we said at the top of the video, the instructions for us are far more important to this formation. We find that instructions generally, we find are more important than the tactics. The tactics, if you get them wrong, can actually create a lot more harm rather than good, whereas the instructions are a lot more reliable because you set them. There's a lot more specifics to them. Sometimes in when you're choosing, for example, direct passing, it's great, of course, your attackers, your strikers are always making running behind, but sometimes if you've got fullbacks on stay back while attacking, if they get into that final third, they run in behind, and that's why sometimes you find that your fullbacks are out of position because you've got direct passing on. So if they get into an attacking situation, they run in behind. So we always prefer the instructions are always more important. But with that being said, of course, the balanced for defensive style, 50 width is very, very important. And then the 60 depth is the most important thing here. Of course, we're going to be playing attacking football. We're going to be playing on the front foot. So you can't play deep. We don't advocate playing deep. Of course, you don't want to go too high on anything like 70, 75 and just be crazy, of course. But 60 is that good number that we really stick to. It gives us the opportunity to get forwards and we tend to control games very, very well. We tend to get in front very, very well. But it's not too deep that we're, struggling offensively, especially with those instructions. If you're struggling to create chances with this sort of setup, it's something that's wrong in your own game. But 60 depth just gives us that balance in between the attacking and defending. And then the build-up play, like we just alluded to, we didn't go for direct passing. We went for balanced on the chance creation, but we went for long ball on the build-up play. Now, the reason why we went for long ball is obviously we've got players like Mane, so we need that speed to run in behind. And the fullbacks are very, very important. The fullbacks are imperative to this formation. And obviously our play style as well plays into that. Playing switch balls, and that's where someone like Alonso is great. Playing sort of like 30, 40, 50-yard raking balls out to the wing backs is really important because then your opponent has to go out and press the wing back. Unless he's just going to leave. If he just leaves you out there and doesn't come and press you, then that's why Balotelli's, we have someone like Balotelli, so we can just cross the ball. We've got someone reliable to win headers because headers are very, very good in this game. If you've got the right players, you can win headers very, very easily. So if the guy doesn't press us, we just whip a ball into Balotelli, we just whip one in behind to Mane, and we can get some really easy goals that way. And if the guy does press us, that's when your cam comes to life because now your cam is the one that drifts into space and is able to pick up those pockets and then play those through balls through to the likes of Balotelli and Mane. So that combination of long ball and balance really, really works well. And it allows then certain players like the midfielders, like the defenders, to stay in position. They're not getting dragged out of position by the direct passing. And then the final thing I want to say about this formation is obviously the width. We chose to have 70. Now, last year we liked to go for 100. We like to have the wing backs touching the byline. But the biggest problem and biggest change this year is it seems to really open up the midfield a lot. And that's something that we definitely, probably the biggest negative I'd say on this formation, and probably the only negative on this formation, is the fact that you need to have the width, obviously, because you need the fullbacks to stay wide so that those raking through balls are effective. The downside is that when you do lose possession, it does open up the midfield, and the midfield can be a little bit easy for people to play through. So that is really the only detriment, but there's so many pros, as we've highlighted with the tactics and the instructions, that you're going to have some cons somewhere. Whatever tactics and instructions you build or follow from somebody else, there's always a con somewhere. So this is probably the only con, and we wanted to be honest and just say that this is a con with this formation, but there's so many pros that it outweighs the con. So we just prefer to just roll with it, and we end up creating so many chances and having so much fun. So we absolutely love this formation. It is definitely a formation that It's great for getting like a 2-goal lead, and then we recommend changing into a different formation that gives you a little bit more control, like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-1-1 or something like that, that just gives you that more control. You don't then need to go after the goals, you know, and you can just control the game a little bit better from there. So as we said earlier in the video, if you do want us to continue to make more videos like this, then make sure you drop a thumbs up, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notifications bell. If you do want to ask us any more questions, make sure you join our Discord. The link to that is down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.